Thank you. Thanks, Kamil. I'll be speaking English. So if you speak Polish, my name's Przemek. So you can call me Przemek. Is there anyone who doesn't speak Polish here? Polish. Okay. Well, maybe I'll do it for the recording then. I was asked to, but yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy you're here. I'm happy I'm here. I was wondering, yeah, how many people are going to make it here? Because, well, since there are so many of you, either the party was that bad yesterday, or maybe you thought which presentation would be good to sleep in. So yeah, well, either way, I'm happy you're here. I'm going to talk about an interesting topic. And well, you've been hearing a lot about this lately. And probably even today, you're going to hear things that you already know and things that you use. So if you see this case, it's okay. You don't have to boo me. You don't have to say, yeah, I've seen this. This is old. Well, that means it works. And other companies, other people use it as well. So good for you. If there's things that you don't know, well, that's great too. But there's going to be things that you don't agree with. And that's okay too, because what I like to do, especially if we have such nice groups, I'm okay with getting questions during the presentation. So if you feel like doing that, that's okay. You can just stop me. You can shout, "Hey, Przemek," if you speak Polish, or "Hey, Simon," if someone that doesn't speak Polish comes in. And you can ask me a question, and I can give you a use case from that perspective. And sometimes I even have this rule that if you have a good joke, you can also add it to the question. But there's a really important rule. The joke has to be good. If it's bad, you have to leave. So that's why Kamil is still staying. The jokes were really good. Thank you for laughing, because I would have to leave. Okay, but tell me, guys, who here is working in marketing? Half of you guys. Anyone from the sales department? You guys. Okay, cool. Have you ever had this thing where the marketing and the sales team didn't get along that well? Maybe you focused, like as a company, a little bit on the marketing side, a little bit on the sales side, and the other group felt kind of as an outsider. Or maybe you even heard these words: "These leads are worthless. Where did you get them?" Sounds familiar, sales guys? Right? Or, "I get zero help from marketing. They don't help at all." Or, "These contacts suck. Like, you're wasting my time with these people. I don't want to do this." Right? Or maybe from the other side, like the marketer, like, "Man, how can you not close these? This guy was basically throwing money at me. How are you doing this?" Or, "You have no idea how to do this. Like, you shouldn't be a salesperson." Or, yeah, just simply, "I'm doing all I can. I'm killing myself to do this," and you're just throwing leads to trash. Sounds familiar? Right? So a lot of times there's this huge line between the sales and the marketing department, between strategies of inbound and outbound, and especially if you're in between, if you're a CEO, owner, or you're just working as a developer, you're thinking, which side should I take? Which strategy should I support? Is there a better or a worse side? Should my heart be closer to one or the other? And sometimes it feels like this, doesn't it? And you're thinking, I cannot support both sides. It would be just silly, right? So you're thinking, okay, well, there has to be something. And you're thinking on sides, but in reality, it comes out this way. It's basically an internal battle that's basically destructing the whole strategy and killing your business. So what to do with this situation? How to approach this, and how to, well, think about marketing and sales, and is there a way to combine these and build a synergy? Well, I've been doing this for quite a long time. Just like Kamil mentioned, I started way early, even doing door-to-door sales jobs. But over the time, I did have luck to work with pretty interesting companies. Everything from software houses like STX Next, which actually I promised I'm going to talk about as a case study today. So I'm going to talk about you guys. I did different SaaS companies, some unicorns, corporations. But what I found is that it doesn't matter the size, doesn't matter the target group, there's always this battle. So which sides to choose? Well, let me put it this way. If I ask you now, if I had two cars, one is 300 horsepower and the other one is 750 horsepower, which one is better? Is there a better one? Right? And you would probably say, Przemek, it all depends how you want to use it. Right? Because in some cases, you need to go off-road. In some cases, you need to go really fast. So even if you have this super fast car, if your market is off-road, oh, you're going to get stuck in a ditch really fast. Right? And even if your race is to go fast, you need to adjust your strategy. You need to know what to show, when to change your tires, when to change different elements. So as one poet put it some time ago, everything needs to be balanced. And fortunately, I'm not going to give any spoilers. I didn't watch the end game. I'm not going to kill anyone, don't worry about it. But I want to explain from my perspective why is there a fight and why there should be, or which areas should be an alliance and teamwork, and how you can use it in your own business. So let's imagine you have 100 leads, 100 people that already said yes to a meeting. That's doable, right? So out of those 100 people, you're going to have 3 groups. And one group, we call it Group A. Usually it's 5 to 10% depending on the market, on the product. These are non-buyers. These are the people that are never going to buy from you. Doesn't matter what you do, period. Sometimes they don't buy because they don't like companies that are smaller than 500 people. They don't work with companies out of Germany, et cetera, or companies with green logos. The thing is that usually salespeople have problem with them because they waste time. Marketers are like, yeah, easy. These guys, they never convert, they never click. We don't have problems with them. But the sales guys are wasting time and they cannot use it on other good leads. So just for the sales guys, don't waste time. You need to figure out early if someone is hot or not, should I really engage? And I'm going to show you a little bit later how to test it, how to get that information out. But then looking on the other side, there's this Group C. Well, these are the buyers. These guys always buy. Why? Because they're aware and they're actively looking for solutions for their problems. But the challenge is that you need to find them. So here you would have different sections. You would have hot inbound, basically people that are really, really struggling, and they find you somehow. They find you through your social media, they find you through SEO, maybe they see you on some other platforms, and they engage. And they always buy, right? So the thing with these guys is that it's okay. Well, it's great to have them, but if you're closing them, you're not really working hard because all you have to do is just say, yeah, just sign here. This is the offer. Right? So I do get a lot of information from people like, yeah, I'm a good salesperson. If you give me a good lead, I'm going to close everyone. Yeah, of course, but a good lead closes himself. So we need to be aware of this group. And there's also hot outbound. So if you send email campaigns, if you send LinkedIn messages, there's going to be people that are going to buy. And it's okay. You don't need marketing for that, right? So you can go solo. But as you can see, that's only a little fraction of the whole group. So what I want to first talk about is the teamwork with the hot people. Because you probably had this, where a hot client came to you, and they're like, yeah, this is cool, but we're talking with 3 other competitors. And you're like, oh, shit. Right? You're like, okay, we're screwed. So you need to then find support in people that have their powers in that area. So if you're a marketer and you're here, well, we need to talk with your competitors, you're not going to be like, oh, okay, I'll send you 3 blog posts, and we have a webinar, and if you can download my ebook, it's going to be good. I promise, right? They're not going to do this. So this is the time when you need to have the sales guys come in, and that's what we have in STX, where we transfer the lead, we do the lead scoring, and when we see the guy is basically more active on the market, we need to have the sales team come in and build the company image, build the trust, and prove to him why would this be a good idea. And of course, he educated himself already somehow from the online sources, but it's not always 100% full. So we need to be aware that these guys, they need quick action. Like, you don't have time to build the trust over years. Sometimes it's a 15-minute call, or sometimes it's just basically calling them back within 24 hours. So if you don't do that, if you don't build this connection with between the teams, we're going to lose these people. So this is one group. But then going in the middle, we would say, okay, there's other leads that basically don't say a big yes, and don't say a big no. So we're not 100% sure. And what to do with these guys? So a lot of times it comes to educating them a little bit more, giving them a different perspective. A quick example, I do have a client which built a SaaS tool. Basically, it's a negotiation tool. Right? So you go online, negotiate with people that are in other places. Really cool. And they wanted to do a pilot for a specific market just to test if it really works. So what they did is they copied the whole system, and they started selling this for the divorce market. So literally, they're doing divorce property division in the United States. So you can get a divorce online, full cycle, right? And of course, US is a great market because you get divorced 3 times in a lifetime, statistically. So the problem is that, well, there are already online platforms that do online divorcing, but no one has property division, right? So the guys were like, oh, this is perfect. They came to me, said, hey, we need to sell this. I'm like, well, if they don't have this should be easy. This is hot inbound, right? Or hot outbound. They're going to be aware. But the guys are like, yeah, but there's only 8 of those in the United States. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, let's think about how to approach them. But what about all the other lawyers? There's thousands of lawyers, thousands of agencies in US. What about them? And the guys are like, yeah, but they're not doing online divorcing. They can get twice or 10 times the cash if they do it offline. So, okay. And I started discussing, so how about we educate them? How about we change the context and think about what is their problem? What would be a problem of a typical divorce lawyer in the United States? The same as every other business around the world. Clients. He needs clients, right? And he needs to stand out. So what we thought is that if we change the packaging, if we educate him and tell him, hey, how about you take our tool and start giving it for free in your city, saying, hey, if you want to start a divorce, go online for free, you can start property division. You don't have to see your wife or your husband, you can divide the property. And then, of course, it changed from a workflow to a content marketing tool, right? So we educated them a little bit more. So we have to think about, in your case, what are the different contexts, how we can use the tool. Then in other situations, I call this recycling. So we need to know when to come back and when to re-ping a client. So if someone says no today, it doesn't mean that they don't want to buy at all. Basically, sometimes they're saying, I'm not ready at this moment. There's something holding me back, but we need to come back to this later. And the cool thing is that the hot guys are based on statistics. So only if you go and talk to people, even individually, you're going to get those. But if you start the teamwork and start working based on skill, you're going to get way, way more. But now you would ask, okay, so when do I know what is the education? How do I build trust? How do I communicate? And how do I go between this? Well, I don't know if you heard this phrase that people buy based on emotions and they rationally justify the purchase on logic. Have you heard this? So no one goes to the store when they want to buy a shirt and they're like, oh, 50% cotton, 50% polyester, really logical, green, I'm going to take it. No. Usually, you put it on, you feel, right, the clothing. So there's something called the buying line. So this is the level of emotions that triggers people to do something. And what happens is that basically people above the buying line, these are the people that have a really high frustration, fear, or different types of pressure that could trigger them for a change. But the ones that are aware are already in group C. And you have to be also aware that there's a group B where we can educate them. So you have to think about, okay, the frustration, where is it coming from? So just like with this divorce tool, they had the frustration, but they were not aware that they can use a new way of marketing to attract clients. So you have to do this wisely and navigate through this, and especially for the sales guys, if you go and see group A, people that literally say, I don't care about this problem. You shouldn't engage with them that much. You don't need to, because they're not going to buy. Why? Just to close it up. Well, when you do have the emotions, let's say I'm really frustrated with lack of clients. Well, that motivates me to do something. But that doesn't mean I'm going to buy your tool. That doesn't mean I'm going to buy your services. I already have a visual imagination or like a value that I feel based on those emotions. Then I have to justify this with logic. So when you show me your tool, I need to logically feel it. Because if I want to change, I want to buy a marketing tool, but logically, your tool doesn't click with me. It doesn't give me the full value in relation to the price. Maybe you feel this way when you're thinking about maybe buying a new computer or a phone. You're thinking, yeah, I should buy a new MacBook because I was always working on a PC. And emotionally, you think, yeah, this is cool, and I like it, and of course, I'm going to look good. And then logically, it's going to be faster. But then you look at the price and you're like, ooh. So maybe this good Lenovo from the top shelf is going to be better, right? And then you rationally justify that decision. And what happens here is that the summary of the left should be equal or the best if it's larger than the right side. But what happens is that you have different doubts or objections. So basically right now I would be thinking, well, I don't really need that Mac, right? I don't really want to do it. I'll go with Lenovo. But if the salesperson is smart enough to educate me and tell me, yeah, man, but it's going to be faster. You're going to save a lot of time. You can spend time with your family. Boom, emotionally, I feel more value. And then they're going to say, yeah, and then you're going to work faster, so you're going to get more cash. And then it sums up even better, right? So, okay, I have just 30 more seconds. So, quick points, where to start, what to do to start merging these two strategies and being more efficient. First of all, processes and analytics. So if you don't do any numbers, if you don't have processes, well, you don't know where to start. You need to know what are the emotional triggers. So what are the frustrations, what are the fears, what are the pressures? Data on problem awareness. If you don't know what hurts your clients, how can you really sell to them? Doesn't matter if it's inbound or outbound. You need to know the inbound-outbound cooperation and test it. See when people convert better, faster. And of course, then relevant messaging. It doesn't matter how much content you have, what type of articles are out there, but how relevant they are to the emotional and the logical message you want to send and the real feeling. Right? So if you want to study some inbound strategies, my partner Romeo, he did an analysis of 3 top software houses in Poland. And the report is like 350 page long. So he did a really deep analysis of what they do and why are they so successful. Or if you're thinking, okay, I do have the inbound, okay, I'm still thinking how to connect it with outbound or how to do my outbound. I'm really happy to give a free 15, 20-minute consultation over Skype, but you just need to catch me. You need to add me and say, hey, Simon, I want my 15 minutes or I want my 20 minutes. Or you can just write me an email, and usually I write back within 4 to 14 weeks. But I do. Promise. Cool. So sorry I couldn't get any questions, but if you have those, if you want to discuss this, I'll be going around here.
You can have a round of questions.
Yeah? Okay, yeah. We still have time for that?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you have questions,
are there any?
Hit me.
Are there any questions?
Yeah, there is a question in the middle.
I have a question about the left-hand side, which you left blank. You left it blank because it's not important to care about when doing sales and marketing, or you just didn't have time?
No, the left side is well, when it comes to marketing, these are the guys that are not gonna come to your content, they're not gonna come to your sources because they don't feel the problem, right? So they're not emotionally attached or logically attached. So in marketing, you're not gonna get in touch with them. In sales, you're gonna probably meet them somehow, but they're never gonna sell. So that's why I left it blank, because you probably had these situations when you were going to meetings over and over for like 2 or 3 years, and you were like, oh my God, I hope this is the day when they're finally gonna buy, because last time they said, in 3 months we're gonna buy, right? And you kind of believe them. And then after 2 years, you're thinking, well, I invested so much time, probably should drop this, but maybe this is the day, right? So that's why you should have tools to find out what is the emotional trigger, do they really have it? And you can find it out within 15, 20 minutes. So, yeah. Hope that answers the question.
Yeah, I think that's all we can afford. So, huge round of applause.
Cool. Thanks, guys.